Hello, my loves, and welcome. Thinking of trading in your current life for a go at the UK, are we? Well, hold on to your hats because it's not as easy as hopping on a plane with a Terry's chocolate orange. It's the skilled worker visa we're tackling today, darlings. The golden ticket to legally working in the UK. Consider this your one-stop shop, your comprehensive guide to navigating the ins and outs of the UK skilled worker visa. We'll be covering everything from eligibility, are you fabulous enough, to what to do when you finally set foot on British soil. So grab a cuppa, settle in and let's get started, shall we? All right, let's start with the basics, shall we? First things first, you need a job offer. But not just any job offer, it has to be from a reputable source. And not just any job offer, darling, a job offer from a UK employer approved by the Home Office. This is crucial. Think of it as getting past the velvet rope, only instead of a bouncer, it's the UK government. They have strict criteria. Now, this job can't just be any old thing. It has to meet specific standards. It has to be at a certain skill level, something they call RQF level 3 or above. This ensures you're qualified. Don't worry, we're not talking rocket science here. It's manageable for most professionals. Speaking of pay, there's a minimum salary requirement, usually around £26,200 per year, or what they call the going rate for the job. This ensures fair compensation. Now, let's talk English, shall we? Because you can't very well work in the UK if you don't speak the lingo. Communication is key. You'll need to prove you can speak, read, write and understand English to at least a B1 level. This is to ensure you can integrate smoothly. Your employer needs to provide you with a certificate of sponsorship. This is a formal document. No certificate, no visa, no UK adventure, so make sure all your paperwork is in order before you start packing your bags. Right. So, you've got your job offer, you've popped the champagne, you've told your mum you're moving to the UK. It's an exciting time, no doubt about it. Now comes the slightly less glamorous part, gathering your documents. But don't worry, we've got you covered. First up, you'll need that certificate of sponsorship, COS we talked about. This is your golden ticket. Keep it safe, keep it close, it's your new best friend. Seriously, don't lose it. Next, you'll need to prove you can actually speak the Queen's English. This is crucial for your visa application. That means digging out those English language test results. Make sure they're up to date. IELTS usually does the trick. It's widely accepted and recognised. Or if you've got a degree taught in English, even better. This can sometimes waive the need for a language test. Of course, you'll need your passport. This is your primary identification document. Make sure it's valid, darling. We don't want any airport drama. Check the expiration date twice. And speaking of drama, you might need to prove you're not planning on being a drain on the UK economy. Financial stability is key. That's right, it's evidence of your personal savings time. Make sure you have enough funds to support yourself. Now, if your employer is footing the bill for your living expenses, you can skip this part. Just get a letter from them. Bringing your loved ones along? Excellent. But be prepared to prove your relationship status. Marriage certificates, birth certificates, you name it. And finally, depending on where you're from, you might need a clean bill of health, specifically a tuberculosis test. This is important for public health. Right, kittens. Have you got all your documents in order? Have you triple-checked everything? Good, because now it's time to face the music, or rather the online application. Don't worry, it's not as scary as it sounds. Think of it as online shopping. But instead of a new pair of shoes, you're getting a one-way ticket to the UK. First things first, head on over to the UK government's visa portal. Just follow the instructions, fill in all the boxes. Honestly, darling, they do love their forms. And upload all the documents we talked about. Now, here's the catch. It's not free. There's an application fee, and it's not exactly pocket change. On top of the application fee, there's also something called an immigration health surcharge. It's basically a fee to access the UK's National Health Service, NHS. You know, just in case you need a doctor while you're there. And finally, the grand finale, submitting your biometrics. Think of it as your official UK mugshot, but hopefully you'll be smiling. So, you've submitted your application, you've paid your fees, you've given your fingerprints to the UK government. Now what? Well, now comes the hardest part, waiting. Yes, I'm afraid patience is a virtue when it comes to visas. Typically, it takes around 3 weeks to get a decision if you're applying from outside the UK, but if you're already there on another visa perhaps, it can take a bit longer, around 8 weeks. Now, if you're the impatient sort, there are ways to speed things up. For an extra fee, of course. It's called the priority service, and it can significantly reduce the processing time. But even with the priority service, there's still a bit of a wait. So, my advice, try to forget about it. Go for a walk, read a book, learn how to bake a Victoria sponge cake. Congratulations, darling. You've got your visa. This is a monumental step in your journey. Pop the champagne, do a little dance, tell the internet you're officially heading to the UK. It's time to celebrate this incredible achievement. But before you start packing your bags and booking that one-way flight, let's talk about the nitty-gritty, shall we? There are a few important details you need to be aware of. Because this visa, it comes with conditions. Yes, there are some rules you'll need to follow to make the most of your stay. First things first, the skilled worker visa can be granted for up to 5 years. That's a significant amount of time to immerse yourself in a new culture. That's right, a whole 5 years to explore everything the UK has to offer. From iconic landmarks to hidden gems, there's so much to see and do. From the bustling streets of London to the rolling hills of the Cotswolds, the UK is your oyster, my friend. Every corner of this country has its own unique charm. And after those glorious 5 years, well, if you've fallen head over heels for the British way of life, you can apply for something called indefinite leave to remain, ILR. This means you can make the UK your permanent home. It's basically a fancy way of saying you can stay in the UK permanently. Imagine building a life here with all the opportunities that come with it. Now, back to those conditions we mentioned. It's crucial to understand what you can and can't do while on this visa. While you're on this visa, you can only work for the employer who sponsored you. This means your job role is tied to your visa status. You can change jobs within the same company or even switch sponsors entirely, but you'll need to apply for a new visa each time. This process ensures that your employment status is always up to date. And while you're living your best British life, make sure you keep your nose clean. Adhering to the rules and regulations is essential for a smooth stay. This visa is a privilege, not a right. Treat it with the respect it deserves, and you'll have an amazing experience in the UK. Now, I know what you're thinking. Moving to a new country is exciting, but it wouldn't be the same without your loved ones, right? Well, the good news is you can bring your spouse or partner and your children with you on the skilled worker visa. It's a family affair, darling. But hold your horses, because just like your application, your dependents will need to jump through a few hoops of their own. Each of them will need to apply for their own visa. And yes, that means paying a fee for each application. Now, your dependents will need to prove their relationship to you. Marriage certificates, birth certificates, those sorts of things. And once they're approved, you can all pack your bags and head to the UK together as a happy little family. If you're not quite ready to say goodbye to those full English breakfasts and afternoon tea, you can apply to extend your visa. You'll need to meet the same eligibility requirements, of course, and your employer will need to continue sponsoring you. But if you've been a model employee, paying your taxes and not causing any trouble, then getting an extension should be a piece of cake. Now, let's say you're already in the UK on a different visa. Well, the good news is you might be able to switch to a skilled worker visa without leaving the country. Congratulations, darling, you've made it. You're officially a resident of the United Kingdom. Now, before you run off to find the nearest pub for a celebratory pint, there are a few things you need to do upon arrival. Consider it your welcome to the UK checklist. First and foremost, you need to collect your biometric residence permit, BRP. It's basically your ID card, proof that you're legally allowed to be in the UK. You'll have 10 days from your arrival date to pick it up, so don't leave it until the last minute. Next, make sure you're familiar with the conditions of your visa. Remember, this isn't a free pass to do whatever you like. Now that the official stuff is out of the way, it's time to enjoy yourself. Explore your new city, try all the local delicacies, curry anyone, and embrace the British way of life. So there you have it, my dears. your comprehensive guide to navigating the wonderful, sometimes confusing world of the UK skilled worker visa. We've covered everything from eligibility requirements to what to do when you finally arrive on British soil. Remember, the process may seem daunting at first, but with a little preparation and a lot of patience, you'll be sipping tea and saying cheerio in no time. And who knows, you might even pick up a charming British accent along the way. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you found this video helpful, subscribe to our channel for more informative content, and leave any questions you might have in the comments below. From all of us here, good luck with your visa application, and we'll see you in the UK.